A 3-year-old girl vanished overnight from a secure hospital room. No broken windows, no witnesses, not even a camera caught it. 2 years passed, and then a city sewer crew pulled something from a storm canal that no one expected and no one could explain. What they found would reopen a case long presumed dead and expose a predator hiding behind one of society's most trusted roles. Welcome to Echo Stories. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. Part 1: The Empty Hospital Bed. It was just before dawn at UPMC Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh. The hallways were quiet, machines hummed, lights glowed dim above the nurses' station. Nathan Hartley stepped off the elevator, holding a teddy bear and a bag of Meera's favorite cereal. His daughter Meera, only 3 years old, had been battling chronic lung illness since infancy. She was strong, brave, and finally stable. Or so they thought. Nathan walked into room 304 with a smile. But the bed was empty. No Meera, no wheelchair, no oxygen tank. No alarms had sounded. No one had seen her leave. She had needed 24/7 oxygen support. She could barely walk more than a few feet without gasping. Panic exploded through the ward. Nurses scrambled. Security searched every corner. The hospital was locked down. The police arrived within the hour. But there were no security camera feeds. They had been offline for maintenance. No windows had been tampered with. And the only door leading into a hallway with staffed nurses showed no sign of Meera leaving. They checked every inch of the building. Nothing. Meera had vanished. Just vanished. Police launched a citywide search. Amber alerts, press briefings, tips from psychics. Theories online ranged from human trafficking to inside job to parental abduction. But nothing stuck. Days turned into weeks, weeks into years, and slowly but surely the story faded. But not for Nathan. He never stopped searching. And 2 years later, beneath a manhole cover, 14 miles from the hospital, the first clue would rise from the dark. Part 2: The Clue in the Drain. It was a routine morning for a city sewer maintenance crew. The sun had just come up over the Pittsburgh skyline. The team was clearing blockages near the canal system, mud debris runoff, and sometimes trash from God knows where. Then one of them saw it. A small pediatric wheelchair jammed beneath a rusted grate caught in the current. Faded, scratched, but unmistakably decorated with colorful superhero stickers. It didn't look like junk. It looked placed. The team pulled it up. Strapped to the back was a portable oxygen tank, child-sized. Empty. The serial number barely visible, but intact. They called it in. When the detectives arrived, they didn't need long to identify it. It was Meera's. The wheelchair and oxygen setup had been recorded in her missing person file. Nathan was contacted immediately. When he saw the chair, he dropped to his knees. "I remember putting that last sticker on," he whispered. "Captain Marvel, she loved that one." But what truly unnerved investigators wasn't just the chair, it was its condition. The metal was clean, the tires weren't weather-worn, the tank had been used recently. 2 years underground impossible. That chair had been dumped in the last few days, which meant Meera had been alive, at least recently. Detectives revisited the hospital. They reviewed personnel files, schedules, maintenance logs. A familiar name surfaced again and again: Dr. Martin Kellner. He was the last attending physician on Meera's case. He had no disciplinary record, no complaints, no suspicion. But Nathan remembered something. He visited Meera more than necessary, he said. Even on days off, he called her his miracle. And then came the final straw. Surveillance footage from a local pharmacy captured just days before the wheelchair discovery showed Dr. Kellner buying 2 small oxygen tanks. Exactly the kind used for child therapy. Part 3: The Doctor Behind the Curtain. Detective Saunders knocked on the door of a modest red brick house just outside the city. Dr. Martin Kellner answered with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Polite, charming, steady hands, the kind of doctor who inspired trust. "We just need to ask a few questions," the detective said. Kellner nodded. "Of course. Anything I can do to help Meera's case." Inside, the house was spotless. Family photos, none of children. A faint scent of antiseptic. They talked for 15 minutes. Routine questions. Kellner had answers for everything. He said he bought the oxygen tanks for his private patients. He said he barely remembered Meera, one of so many young patients over the years. He said the wheelchair discovery was tragic. But when Nathan reviewed the same conversation later, he felt a chill. He remembered Meera too well when it helped his image, Nathan said, and pretended she was just another file when things got close. Detectives began to dig deeper. They checked old employment records. Kellner had worked at 4 hospitals in the last 10 years. At 2 of them, he quietly resigned following internal investigations. No formal charges, no media coverage. But one line stood out from a 2014 incident at St. Agnes Medical Unusual Patient Attachment, ignored separation protocol. That file had been sealed, and Kellner had moved on. The picture was forming, but without hard evidence, they couldn't arrest him. So Nathan did something bold. He called him. Dr. Kellner, Nathan said over the phone, I know you took my daughter. I know she's still alive, and I'm going to find her. There was silence. Then Kellner replied calm and cold. You should stop chasing ghosts, Mr. Hartley. Grief will make you see monsters where there are none. Then he hung up. That night, Nathan's security camera caught a dark sedan circling his street, and hours later, he vanished. Part 4, The Cabin in the Pines. Nathan's phone was found in the street screen, cracked still recording. Detective Chen rushed to the Hartley home fearing the worst. But then an email arrived from an anonymous address. Subject, you want answers. Come alone. South Pine Trail. Midnight. Attached was a single image. Meera, sitting at a wooden table in pajamas, hair longer but unmistakably her. Alive. The photo had no timestamp, no location data, but Chen recognized the background. An old ranger station deep in the South Pine Preserve. Abandoned. Forgotten. A plan was set. Nathan's location was pinged about 10 miles from the cabin, his smartwatch still active. A tactical team moved in. Meanwhile, Nathan slowly regained consciousness, tied to a chair inside that very cabin. His head throbbed. His mouth was dry. Across the room in a tiny bed surrounded by dolls and books was his daughter. Meera. She looked at him, eyes unsure, confused. Sweetheart, he whispered. It's me, Daddy. But she didn't respond. From the shadows, a voice answered for her. She doesn't remember you. Dr. Kellner. He stepped forward, dressed in plain clothes, but with a surgeon's composure. She calls me Martin now, he said. I've raised her, protected her. You lost her the moment you let them take her to that hospital. Nathan shook with fury. She's not yours. Kellner's face twisted. I gave her what you couldn't piece. Stability, love. He pulled something from behind his back. A syringe. Sedative. You were never supposed to find us, he said. I was going to leave this state tomorrow. Start fresh. Then came a bang. The door exploded inward. Flashlights. Shouting. Kellner froze syringe still in hand. Drop it, officers screamed. He hesitated, then dropped the syringe, hands raised. Meera screamed and ran to the corner shaking. And Nathan, still tied up, cried out her name as agents rushed in. Part 5, The Girl Who Forgot Her Name. Paramedics untied Nathan and checked his vitals. His hands trembled as he crawled toward the corner where Meera sat, knees pulled to her chest, eyes wide with fear. It's okay, he whispered. You're safe now. She didn't move, didn't speak, didn't recognize him. Detective Chen placed a blanket around her. We'll take her to a child trauma unit, carefully. But Nathan couldn't stop staring. That was his daughter, but also not. 2 years of isolation, lies, reprogramming. She'd been told her parents were dead, that Dr. Kellner was her savior, that Martin was the only one who loved her. Now the world had shifted again, and she didn't know who to trust. Dr. Martin Kellner was arrested and charged with kidnapping, child endangerment, unlawful imprisonment, obstruction of justice, and later possession of illegal sedatives. Police found evidence Kellner had been planning to take Meera across state lines under a fake name. His home contained photos, medical records, toys, and journals, all documenting Meera's transformation into the child he always wanted. He showed no remorse. In court, he said, she smiled with me. She laughed. That's more than she ever did in a hospital bed. The jury needed less than 2 hours to convict him. Today, Meera lives with her parents, Nathan and Nicole, but the road to recovery is long. She's 5 now. Therapists say she has dissociative identity symptoms. Sometimes she calls herself Mia. Sometimes she just stares when asked her name. But sometimes, when the light hits her face just right and she's holding her old teddy bear, she hums the lullaby her mom used to sing. And in those small moments, they see her coming back, bit by bit, home. If this story reached your heart, please consider sharing it. Someone you know might be going through something unimaginable, and these stories remind us evil hides behind friendly faces. Subscribe to Echo Stories for more real-life mysteries and moments of truth, because the lost deserve to be found.